ChatGPT Plus is free for college students through May. Here's the thing. You've got a lot to do between now and then. Studying for finals, writing papers, trying to keep your life on track. And ChatGPT can help with all of it. It can quiz you for your econ exam, make a study guide from your French notes, plan out your meals and study breaks. It can get really specific on how you like to learn. It can even help you come up with ways to stop procrastinating. So from now until summer break, take advantage of all the ways ChatGPT can make your life easier. Restrictions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. 3 couples, 4 vacations, a lot to unpack. Watch The 4 Seasons, a new series starring comedy favorites Tina Fey, Steve Carell, Will Forte, Coleman Domingo, and more in a hilarious and heartfelt love letter to long-term relationships. Based on the original Alan Alda film. Watch The 4 Seasons, May 1st, only on Netflix.
War Eagle, and welcome to another edition of Ever to Podcast. This is the show where we get together on a somewhat regular basis during the midweek to update you on the Auburn experience. That Auburn experience is all about Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff, and an easier way to say it might be, if it's orange and blue, it's what we do. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm your host, as always, Kyle Loomis, keeping you up to date on the latest Auburn-related news and topics that are prevalent across the internet, social media, and just out in everyday life. Let's get into it today. As always, there is plenty to update you on news-wise and just having fun talking about the orange and blue. This is episode 4 on May 15th. It's a Thursday after all. We've been doing this for 4 days straight now. Hope you all are enjoying it. Subscribing to the channel, to the podcast, I guess I should say more appropriately, and getting involved. You can drop comments and questions at E2C Network at gmail.com if you want to have your voice heard here on this particular podcast, have something addressed. Don't be shy. We'd love to hear from you there. Getting into it today, we've got a lot of big stories out there that I want to hit. We're going to start right off at the top with one I know that is probably most being worried about, most focused on by the Auburn faithful, the Auburn sports faithful, and mainly Auburn basketball fans. That is, what is Tahaa Pettiford going to do? He's in the NBA draft combine right now. He's going through the process. He's maintained his eligibility. Just be very clear with that for some people who are still a little bit misinformed on that. He hasn't made any decisions as of just doing this podcast. Things could change at any moment. But boy, is he having what seems to be a great combine. If you have not been paying attention, they've been releasing things over the last several days. It started this week, the NBA Draft Combine. Janai has also been in that. They've been doing measurables, vertical tests, agility tests, all these different things to go ahead and get things down on paper for NBA teams to start making decisions about who they might take. Well, they're also now doing scrimmages, and as of yesterday, there was one, and boy, did we get to see some highlights of Tahaa Pettiford. There's probably one you've seen circled around. We've shared as well. Him going up and just throwing down a beautiful slam like we saw him do so many times here in his freshman year at Auburn. But it's not so much even just the highlight. Like, as we said in our little reel we made about it on social media, anybody can get just one great highlight. But let's talk about the wholeness of Tahaa Pettiford's performance in this particular scrimmage that is being referenced. Let me give you the stats that man was able to put together in a short amount of time. 23 points. Let me say that again, 23 points, 8 assists. So very nearly a double-double for Tahaa Pettiford in that one scrimmage. He also only had, reportedly, 1 turnover during that scrimmage. So not only was he proficient scoring, he was proficient sharing, nearly had a double-double, but also taking care of the ball. And so there's been a lot of conversations around Tahaad. Is he too short? Is he too small right now? Does he still need some time to grow into an NBA-type player? Right now, he's showing that he can score, he can share, he can keep the ball safe. And this is against, obviously, fellow competition that he's been playing a lot, or at least the level of competition at the college ranks. So you'd expect him to kind of maintain that. Getting to the NBA, playing against that competition is going to be a whole nother level. So that's just an update on how he did as of yesterday. Today is Thursday. This was on Wednesday, so things may change in that. I know what the big question for you guys is off of that and what you're really worried about. Is he coming back? We're not going to know until he makes a decision, folks. And I see a lot of you asking that question every day. They're not going to know. Certainly, if you look at today, yesterday with his scrimmage, his performance does seem to bode well for him in terms of how he's perceived by scouts, by teams, who wants to pick him up and take him. Depends on just who takes him, when, and where. Certainly, you're going to see predictions all over the place about that, but just wanted to give you an update on how he is doing, and we need to celebrate him in any way that we can. I also want to keep this in the basketball realm for this next topic, and I know this one's probably not the biggest topic for you in that space right now, but it's an important topic for a lot of reasons, because this individual has not just been such a big impact on Auburn basketball, but him and his family have helped develop Auburn culture. In fact, it's probably the very first thing that we did here on E2C Network that was so off the wall, so off the beaten path, even just directly from sports. We have him and his family to thank for that. And that's Chad Prewett. If you know Chad Prewett, he has been a coach and we always call him coach because he's been a coach in the Auburn area for a long time at the high school ranks. But also he was like the player development director. I forget his title before that. But he became an on-the-court assistant officially the last couple of seasons, I think it was. He has announced his retirement from coaching to step into a whole new field. He is going to go work in a new calling that God's placed on his heart in a ministry for Unite US, but I think I call it Unite Us, and is going to be working for them. And in what capacity, I don't really see in his statement that he has shared here, but that's all he shared right now. That's what it's going to be. He called being an Auburn Tiger, coaching for Auburn, a lifelong dream for him, and he was able to accomplish that, not only being in different roles, but also getting to the on-the-court official assistant title while he was here at Auburn. He has been integral in that, in the proficiency of what's become on the court, but also the faith-driven focus of this, not just team this year, but this program. He's been an instrumental part of that, and so we want to recognize him for that and thank him for that, because I'll just be honest with you too. He's been very kind towards E2C Network and been very interactive with us over the years, and I very much appreciate it. I don't know why he has chosen to do that, but we won't complain about that. So Chad, thank you for that. The other side of this, if you remember, and this is going back to reference what we did here at E2C Network, our very first thing that we ever did that wasn't directly sports related was called About to Get a Bachelor, because his daughter, Maddie Prewett, was on The Bachelor, if you remember, and we did a episode by episode analysis of that. When I say I was on one show, I think, but Dallas Ham and his wife Riley did that show for us back in the day. If you want to go back and listen to their analysis of that, it was a pretty good. We had pretty good insight that she was going to make it all the way to the end, so that's why we chose to do it. Anyway, we are excited for the new opportunity for him and for what that's going to mean for his family, his future. So good luck, Chad. We wish you the best. Let's talk about Auburn golf. We've been updating you all week about how they're doing. You've probably heard the news by now. They are regional champs yet again. Let me say that again. Regional champs yet again. 3 years in a row now, Auburn has won its regional. And I believe that they hosted last year as well. I can't remember if they hosted that third year previously. But for 3 years now, Coach Kleinard has been building up to what we have known today, the reigning champs for Auburn men's golf in NCAA golf. Now, winning the regional is one thing. Obviously, the next step is the NCAA tournament, which is going to be out in Carlsbad, California. It's in California. I do know that because they posted they're heading out there. But let's just take a second to sit in how dominant they were in this particular regional. I mean, just outstandingly dominant in this. 27 shots is what they won by in this. I don't know. I'd love to go back and look at, and I should have done this, what the differential was between them and the other teams in the other regionals that they won 3 in a row, and to see how this team compares to that. Obviously, every team changes every year, so it's not necessarily a directly fair comparison, But what you're seeing here is an Auburn team that is focused, that is driven, that is got its eye on the prize. And boy, did they really come out and show what they're out to do. There was a quote from Coach Kleiner that was from the first day of competition that was about, we're not here just to qualify, we're here focused to win the whole thing. And that's what they walked into this regional, clearly focused on, and clearly had a drive to do, is to make a statement. Now, I guess the question is, people begin to think, well, do they have enough left in the tank in the regional, or in the actual tournament, the end tournament of all this? Well, you can't say that it's necessarily not going to translate over, or they're going to have a big drop off necessarily, but it's looking pretty good right now. I really love what we're seeing out of this team in regional play. So 3 years in a row now, Jackson Coyman is the individual champion of that regional as well. Not a shock, as back-to-back SEC Golfer of the Year. Auburn men's golf is setting the standard right now and building their legend even more as they continue their march towards the hopeful next national championship for the Auburn Tigers. Those are your big 3 news stories and topics today. There's some probably others that we didn't have time to hit, but maybe we'll do another day. But I want to hear from you in the comments section if you are watching it in some other format or listening in some other format. But you can email us or direct message us on any social media. Would love to hear from you, what you want us to talk about. I'd like to ask you this question. Do you predict that men's golf will win the national title? We are sitting here right post at the end of regional. What's your prediction? Yes or no? Will they win the national title, or do you feel like we might get a little bit of a letdown because things are just riding so high right now? Where is your mentality at as a Auburn Tigers fan, as an Auburn men's golf fan? We'd love to hear from you in that format. As always, I want to remind you to check out all of our podcasts, including our main one, The Auburn Experience. And thank you to everyone who joined us on Auburn Family Night last night on YouTube for our live call-in show. It was a great show, and you should join us every Wednesday at 9 Eastern Time. Thanks again for hanging out with me today here on Ever the Podcast, where we get to talk with you about the Auburn experience. So we talk to you again. War Eagle.